Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Pada Padme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Dear Mr. Joshi, Mr. Sunil Shah, the distinguished gathering here, the guests, teachers, students, parents and all those who have gathered here, and dear friends, I am very happy to be here this evening once again. I was here a few days back and once again I am here. It's always a pleasure to come to AMA and talk to the enlightened audience of AMA. The subject is very interesting and very important. Teacher as a torch bearer of change. Just now we had a very nice introduction from Mr. Joshi, who told for education for national building how our great patriots and educationists had done work. They did some work in the field of education which was congenial for national building. But at present, what is the present scenario of education? What is the role of teachers in national building? This is what we'll have to consider. Now the teacher word is the English word. The Sanskrit word for teacher is guru. And guru comes from two words, two letters, gu and ru. And gu indicates darkness and ru indicates that which removes darkness. So guru, etymological meaning of the word guru is one who removes darkness. So torch bearer is the exact equivalent of guru rather than a teacher. So teacher is a torch bearer, one who removes ignorance, one who takes the disciple from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Now this knowledge is of two types basically. Mundaka Upanishad says Dve vidye veditavye, paracha aparacha. Two types of knowledge. One is apara vidya, second is para vidya. What is apara vidya? Whatever you know of is all apara vidya. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, geography, history, engineering, architecture, medical, everything is apara vidya. Even the knowledge of scriptures, even the Vedas themselves are apara vidya. Then what is para vidya? Para vidya means the knowledge which is knowledge of the self. Unfortunately, we know we have the knowledge of the whole world, but we don't have the knowledge about ourselves. Self-knowledge. The self, the supreme reality which is beyond time, space and causation, that knowledge is called Paravidya. In the olden times, both Paravidya and Aparavidya used to be given simultaneously in all our educational institutions, that is called Gurukuls. But afterwards, now what we find is, in our schools and colleges and educational institutions, only Aparavidya is given. The knowledge of the self is not given. The knowledge about how to go beyond time, space and causation. What Abraham Maslow says, self-transcendence, self-actualization and then self-transcendence. This is not being taught, unfortunately. But in our olden times it is. So in olden times, guru means one who gives both types of knowledge. Now of course the word guru has become a little cheaper. We say management guru and music guru and the judo karate guru. So many types of guru are there. But actually guru word is a very, very great word, denotes greatness. One who removes the darkness, one who removes ignorance, who gives the knowledge of the self. That was called Guru. Now, so if in that context, what are the type of teachers then? Number one, on the highest ladder we get, on the topmost crust of the ladder we get. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, who can be a Guru? Satchidanand alone can become Guru. God alone can become Guru. God alone can give you self-knowledge. So, but God, how does He give knowledge? From within. But it is very difficult for a person to realize the self. And sometimes at the micro level and at the macro level also we find lot of developments take place, and sometimes demonical forces, they come into play, and that time it requires balancing of the forces between good and bad forces. So that time God Himself comes in the form of incarnation. He Himself comes down. So we have at the topmost are the incarnations of God, avataras: Sri Ramchandra, Sri Krishna, Christ, Buddha, Mahavir. And latest we find Sri Ramakrishna, our own times, who came with Ma Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda, when there was tremendous change in the whole world. Materialistic civilization was just going to demand the whole thing. At that time it was required that the balancing of the forces was required, so came Sri Ramakrishna along with Swami Vivekananda, Ma Sharda Devi. In fact, yesterday only there was Holy Mother's Tithi Puja, birthday, we had grand celebrations. Again we are going to have for the whole year 150th birth anniversary celebration of Ma Sharda Devi. So 19, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, we have series of programs now. So it was difficult for me to come, but I couldn't refuse the invitation of AMA, and it more so because I thought it's a good opportunity to have an interaction with the enlightened minds of Ahmedabad on such an important topic like education, and particularly teachers, because I go all over the country talking to the teachers and giving them a mantra. About that I will take a lot later on, what mantra I give. Everywhere, all the teachers, I give one mantra. So that's why I came here. First thing is incarnation. Second, we get the prophets and messengers. Prophet Muhammad, he came, Zarathustra came. These are all messengers of God, the second ladder. Third, we get saints and seers like Kabir. In the second sector we had Guru Nanak, Muhammad and Zarathustra. In the third we get saints and seers like Narsi Mehta, Mirabai, Kabir, etc. Still lower we get realized souls, human beings, but who have practiced spiritual truths and they have realized the truth. They become the gurus and they transfer the knowledge. So these are all spiritual teachers. These are all spiritual teachers. Then we have got teachers who are involved in giving secular knowledge. Mostly when we tell teachers, we mean those who are working in schools, or at the most professors in colleges, or at the most we call those who are working as teachers in the field of management gurus, such professionals, we call them teachers. Yes, they are of course the teachers. The other group that we told were spiritual teachers. These spiritual teachers of course bring about the change. They transform the whole thing. Sri Krishna himself says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujameham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuga yuge. Whenever virtue subsides and vice increase, to balance the force, I come myself incarnate. These are all incarnations. So of course they come. But what we are talking about, mostly I'll come to the first part, how Sri Ramakrishna in our own times transformed the whole scenario. If time permits, I'll go for that. But for the time being, I'll confine myself to those teachers whom we call generally the teachers who are working in schools and professors who are working in colleges. I'll leave, of course, those who are giving tuitions, private tuitions, those who are running non-formal schools, they are also teachers. And of course, all the parents are teachers. And the boss who is teaching his subordinate is also a teacher. So in one sense or the other, we are all teachers. But I will be confining myself to the teachers who are at present, whom we are denoting as teachers, who have been employed in schools or at the most colleges, professors. This group, can they be the torch bearer of change? So that is number one. This is what we have to consider. Now, what change we require? Is there a necessity of change? What is the present scenario? With the present system of education, what is the present scenario? All over the world, there is great lack of peace of mind. UNESCO is very much concerned about it, and that's why they had given the formula, they had given the mandate, education to be, rather than given education to do. Because lot of youths going for drug addiction, AIDS, suicides, no mental peace. So many books are coming out. You know, the name of the book in America, which went for a great sale, was by Derek Humphreys. The name of the book, The Final Exit. And the book was also not available. It was sold so much, it was also an exit. And what is written there? How to commit suicide. All the ways and means have been given. And the bestseller book in Japan, The Complete Manual on Committing Suicide, bestseller. 3.5 lakhs copies sold, and some people were found committing suicide with the book in their hand. And they had committed suicide in the manner in which it was told. There are so many ways and means of committing suicide given. The Complete Manual on Committing Suicide, selling like hotcake. Japan. France, bestseller book name is Suicide User's Manual. So everywhere, we thought that in India we have got poverty, we have a lot of problems. So people are suffering. Yes, but at least the rate of suicide is not so much as compared to the Western countries, the so-called developed countries. So far we were thinking H is directly proportional to M, where H is equal to happiness and M is equal to money. The more money, the more happiness. But the ratio is different. If you find there are 3 countries where the per capita income is highest: America, Japan and Sweden. And the 3 countries having highest rate of suicide: America, Japan and Sweden. And 3 countries having maximum number of mental patients: America, Japan and Sweden. So what happens? H is inversely proportional to M. That doesn't mean that money is not needed. Yes, it is needed for economic regeneration is a must. But what we were thinking, H is directly proportional to M, is not true. So many youngsters are committing suicide. 54% of the youth in America, Japan and Sweden are not meeting natural death. The cause of that death is suicide. So UNESCO is concerned. Something wrong with our education system. So whole paradigm shift has to come. Otherwise we will have a paradigm paralysis. As Amsterdam-based management consultant M. Thiessen says, if we do not have a paradigm shift, if we do not have a holistic paradigm, if we do not have a paradigm shift, we will have paradigm paralysis. This is happening. So everywhere, lot of mental patients, mental hospitals opening on an emergency scale in Japan. The Minister of Health Japan brought out the figures a few years back. That is 44% of the Japanese executives of 42 years and above suffering from mental disorder. 100 mental hospitals open in an emergency scale. This is a scenario. Dr. R.D. Laing, a psychologist in UK, says an average young boy or a girl in England, in UK, has 10 times more chances of entering a mental hospital rather than entering a higher education school. 10 times more chances. This is the present scenario. It is in this context that we will have to think seriously what can be the role of teachers, what can be the role of education. So that is why a different system of education has to come. Spiritual culture has to be brought in. If spiritual culture doesn't come, Swami Vivekananda had prophesied, had given the warning, in 3 generations you will be extinct. To India he had told, and to America and other developed countries he had told, if you do not adopt spiritual culture, you are in for destruction. And this is what is happening. So there is an urgent need of introducing spiritual culture. A new civilization has to emerge where spiritual culture will be given due importance. Otherwise, violence, students taking the gun of the father and killing father. You find Columbia School, what happened in America? We know all of them. So 48% of the people in America are having guns now. Gun culture has come. So if we want to have world peace, if we want to have mental peace, we must have spiritual culture. Now Swami Vivekananda had said how this culture can come, how to save the world, how to have mental peace, how to have world peace. And Swami Vivekananda said, India has got that role of giving spiritual culture. Each and every country has got special role to play in the whole world phenomena. India has a special role to play, and that is for giving spiritual culture. It is in this context that we can appreciate what Swami Vivekananda had said. India shall conquer the whole world by spiritual power. Somebody asked, Swamiji, you are talking so much of patriotism, but you are a monk. You are above any nationality. Yes, he said, yes. For me, all nations are equal. I as much belong to the East as to the West. It's true. But then one thing is there. The world needs to be saved. And the world will not be saved unless and until India is saved. Because India has got a special role of spreading Indian culture. Great cultural Indian heritage we have got, which we will have to give to the whole world. Whole world is waiting for it. In fact, what Swami Vivekananda prophesied, he was not an astrologer, but he was a visionary. And whatever he said has come true. In 1897, he had predicted that India shall become independent within 50 years, but under extraordinary circumstances without fighting a war. At that time, Gandhiji had not returned from South Africa. It actually happened 1947, exactly after 50 years we got independence. There are so many other things that came true. In 1893, at Professor John Henry Wright's place, suddenly he had told, after Britishers leave India, there is a great danger that China may attack India. Nobody even imagined or dreamt that Britishers will leave India. Nobody ever imagined China will attack, but it did happen in 1962. So whatever Swamiji had told, he also predicted that the first proletariat movement will come from Russia. Karl Marx himself had predicted that the first movement will come from Germany, because there was some organized labor there. In Russia there was no organized labor, it was all peasants. But still, the first proletariat movement came from Russia. So whatever Swamiji had told has come true. One thing has yet to come true, and that is Swami Vivekananda had predicted in 1897 in his lecture at Chennai. India shall conquer the world by its spiritual power. That has yet to come true, but it is slowly coming up. 9th August, Time magazine, you find out how Americans are going mad after meditation. 10 million Americans are regularly having meditation. And before that, some time back, again, Americans going gaga over yoga. 92 out of 122 medical schools having regular courses on alternative medicine, including on meditation and yoga. So in a way, Indian spirituality, Indian culture heritage is now being adopted by other countries.